What's up, comrades? It's me, Nightwolf, and I know this video is exceptionally late. Some of you are probably expecting to see it on Thursday. It's... sorry. It's very late on a Saturday, which means the whole schedule got screwed up. But I'm going to do this video really late, and we'll be discussing... Well, I mean, you guys can see my RX-78 Gundams and my encyclopedias. We're going to be discussing what I talked about, which would be my space opera-esque robot or very heavily inspired Gundam slash robotech story idea or project, whatever you want to call it. Now, the one thing I forgot to mention, like very early on, or in the stream I did last week when someone was asking, funny thing about the project. Initially, the plan was to make it a video game. I had a friend in high school that we were good friends, and we were talking about it, and he was like, we can make a video game. And I was like, I would love that, but I don't have any experience making video games. He's like, don't worry about that part. We'll take care of it. Nothing really came of it. I shared some of the stuff I had with him, or what I had at the time. Nothing was really finished. So, you know, I didn't have an opportunity or a chance to really dive really deep, and neither did he. And, you know, it's high school. You got other stuff to do, other responsibilities. So, I never really got it finished. But, basically, the short elevator pitch, I guess you could... I don't really have a prepared elevator pitch for the story or the idea. Basically, it's a combination of Gundam and a bit of Star Trek, because we're going to be dealing with aliens in the story and whatnot. There isn't going to be a whole human versus human conflict. It's going to be humans versus aliens versus a variety of different things. A lot of moral gray stuff will be happening all throughout the story, or at least that's the initial plan. I like I said, most of the stuff isn't written down. It's all up here in the old brain cranium, you know, right in there, inside the helmet, inside the head. I don't have anything fully fleshed out at this point, but I'll share with you what I do have, some of my thought process, some of the characters I did come up with, and then we can go from there. Sound good? That sounds good. Let's get started with that. So, here we have one of my lovely notepads. I don't know if anybody can really see it because it's at an angle. I apologize for that. But, and my finger is in the shot, of course. Okay, so, the main branch of the good guys team is, well, as you can see, it says SMF, which means Special Military Forces. Because in this universe, there is I guess you could say kind of like a Republic Council or something to that nature. You know, kind of group of allied planets and other assorted allies who have formed a group kind of like the United Nations to help maintain peace in the universe. Humans have been a part of it for considerably less than most others, because this union group existed before them, but they're more recent. They've only been a part of the group for about, I don't know, maybe going at about 50 years, at least one or two generations. And right here, this character we'll get into here in a bit, but this is kind of the design for the suits, or at least this was one of my initial designs for the suits, for our standard, you know, military uniform. Not really the space suits, we'll get into that, it's on the next page, but this is kind of what their uniforms look like a bit. They'll probably be altered and changed. This is from quite a long time ago, so I do think, as you can see, I kind of have a note here to say that the emblem that's on the chest, to move it to the shoulder, things of that nature. A lot of things need to be updated and changed. I think, actually, hold on, if I can find the picture. Did I leave it? I did not leave it here. It might be somewhere else. Oops. I don't know where I left it. Oh, it might. I'm being dumb. Hold on. Oh! Yeah, okay, hold on. I found it. I think maybe this one will be better, or something that looks similar to this will be better. This was for a different idea I had, but I may use it for this project instead, because this looks good. I like the way this looks, so we may do something like that instead. This drawing is exceedingly old. It hasn't been updated in a long time. Moving on. Oh yeah, as you can see, we also have a female pilot uniform. Like I said, subject to change, of course. But yeah, this is what a variant on the female uniform will look like. And over here, we have my spacesuit design for pilots and whatnot. I think it looks pretty good, but like I said, I may update it. I think one of the things I want to do with this is to kind of tone back the detail a bit, because this is a lot to work with. Kind of tweak it a bit so that it's not as complicated as it looks right now. But that's just me. And of course, we also have a female pilot suit. Looks pretty good, I think. But like I said, same thing as with the other one. I think that I'll need to update it. And as you can see, the helmets are kind of different. I prefer the simplicity of this helmet opposed to the overly complicated look of this pilot helmet. So, there's that. I have here kind of the antagonists, or one of the antagonist aliens. This is a Commander Viper. That's the name I went with. They're a reptilian-based species. Like I said, obvious alterations might be coming in the future. But yeah, basically they're a reptilian-like species, and I can't really explain like full details of what occurs or what happens inside the story that I have, per se. What I can say is that there's a lot that happened to their species because of this union group that not a lot of people are aware of, and it's the reason why they start a war. So that's kind of that. Here is the idea for the spacesuits that these individuals would wear. I actually really like this design. I think I'd probably keep it because it accommodates the body structure of the species really well. Personally, I think it looks really good. I don't know. Maybe you guys could tell me if you think that it looks different or worse. You can let me know. But yeah, that's the male. We have a female creature here. And it's really weird and funky looking, and I don't want to stare at it for too long. We'll get to that in a second. There's a female spaceship. I don't know. I don't really know what I was thinking when designing this uniform. I wanted to make a sexy reptile lady? I really don't know. It was really weird. I'll be honest. I'm going to be reworking stuff like that. These are an insect species that I was kind of mulling in my head. It's kind of like maybe another antagonist, maybe for a future part of the story or much later on, because I'd like to maintain focus on one group of antagonists, not kind of throw in others too often. But that's what this creature is. Some sort of bug. Oh yeah, I also have another alien species. As you can see, it's kind of obviously heavily inspired by like elves or, or Star Trek, people like Spock and whatnot. I don't really know if I'm going to stick with the name. The Ilium is kind of just like playing around with the word elf a bit too much, so I may try and make something more traditional or original. I think that's... Now, I'll be honest, I don't have a whole lot of suit designs or anything at the moment, but I'll probably work on that a bit in the future. But what I want to do right now, as of this moment, is kind of talk about some of the characters that I came up with. We've got James here, who is the lead protagonist of the story. Unlike most pilots that you would see in a story like Gundam or whatnot, he's actually significantly older. The main thing I tend to ignore the text here because this will probably be subject to change. Except for the whole thing about him being, how he managed to escape capture, but his commander Rex got killed and whatnot. But I kind of wanted him to be kind of like my Char or my Quattro-based character, but him be more of a focal point in the story than what you would typically expect. I want him to kind of be a bit of a secretive character, not really expressing himself a whole lot, much like Char. So, and I think that might be interesting to do a different take of what you normally see, like in a Gundam show or whatnot, where the antagonist is kind of put to the side and not... Well, he's not really put to the side. He's, put in a different position in the story, and he's not the main focus all the time. I like the idea of trying to make him the main focus. That's just another picture. I've got a few other characters. This was the main female character that I came up with. Her name is Kimberly. That's not the main design. That was a design I went with, though I'm not sure I was totally sold on it. I kind of like this look a bit better, to be quite honest. But like I said, I'm working on things, so you never know. Things will probably change and be altered as time goes on. And let's move on. I'm going to kind of like breeze through the characters as quickly as I can. Here's that elfin type alien race. This is Jin. He's going to be a kind of... not only a pilot, but he's also a science officer. So he's really good with science and technologies and working on things of that nature. He's also has a past relationship with James. They've been together. They've been buddies for a really long time, basically. So, sorry. Yeah, that was weird. But basically, he's a long-standing friend, and there'll be a few of them that are like that, and I think the main idea is to have these types of characters that are part of James's past kind of shed light a little bit on his backstory here and there, or what they know about him, with the character of Kimberly, because she's going to have a pretty big focus in the story too, or at least that's the plan. And kind of, because she's going to be like the raw recruit character, and a lot of the other ones are going to be more experienced. Of course, there's going to be like a whole core of raw recruit characters. But that's Jin. And as you can see, there's a lot of blank pages in this because... And this is actually Jin's wife. And I had a redesign plan for her. I'm really not sure which one I prefer more. But she's going to be a doctor on board the ship, because you need a medical officer, obviously. You need someone to treat the wounded. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have her around. Yeah, that's done. I also had to put in some sort of hotshot character as well. Gotta have those guys. So we have him. This is Lance. He's a hotshot. He's a smart cookie, but a little bit on the, obviously arrogant and thinks he's really cool. But, he's also kind of dumb and stupid. Stuff like that. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I might be a bit out of sorts, but I'll probably rewrite everything so that I feel it's more cohesive in the future. But I think that design-wise, I think he looks good. Obviously, he could always improve and look better, but I kind of like the way he looks. So, you never know. I think the overall design for him works pretty well. He looks a little bit like a lady killer and whatnot, so yeah, I think he's a good-looking character. What we got here? This was another alien race I was working on. I forgot what their named are. They are. I think. Oh yeah, they're called Dax. But basically, they're kind of like a cybernetic species kind of thing. They're biotechnical creatures. They're not entirely human, but they're not entirely machine. They're kind of a mix between the two. This is the battle coordinator, actually, for the ship. You know, one of those people who would sit in the chairs and give direction to the combat units. And I think she looks pretty good. This is the captain of the sheep. The ship. This is Peter Lincoln. As you can see, he has a cybernetic eye patch. That is because he's been to hell and back. As you can tell, he's older. He's very grizzled and rugged. So yeah, that's him. He's also from James's past. James and him have been they've known each other for quite some time. I would say mostly he's kind of like a mentor figure to him, because when he was a cadet, this guy was the drill sergeant, or was, one of the people who helped train him. Pretty cool character, I think. And then we have Cassie here, who's supposed to be Kim's older sibling, but I'm not really sure about what I'm going to do with that. I think that it'd be better to do something else with her character entirely. Like, have her be one of James's past friends and whatnot. Something to that nature. And, I don't really have a whole lot to say about her. One of the plans was for her to be a part of the past team. But I can't really say too much. I don't know what I'm going to do with her just yet. And I want to try and see if I can keep some of this stuff a secret. Anyway, we also have Rebecca here. She's going to be like the tech engineer, or the head engineer, for the giant robots that would be in the story. Yeah, and she's James's ex-girlfriend, obviously. But overall, that's pretty much everybody that I have right at this moment. I do have other characters that I think just aren't ready at this point in time. I don't even really have a name for the thing at this point. I need to figure out and shop some names around. And at one point, I think I was going to name the project Night Frames, but I don't know if that's what I want to go with or not. Because as you can see, I kind of have a thing that says Frames right here. Full range armed mechanical exosuits. Frames, for short. Or at least that might be what the suits are called. I haven't really decided on a name for them entirely. I'm not in love with the name, obviously, right now. There will be a ton of other opportunities to probably change that in the future. The one thing I don't have very much of the story written out, and that's kind of my biggest issue at this moment, is to get the story written out. I have a few pages here, but it's not a lot to go with. So it's like, 1, 2, 3 pages. Not a lot to work with. Excuse me. But yeah, anyway, that is my story. This is my space opera story that I'm kind of working on when I have free time. I haven't had a lot of free time to work on it, but I do plan on actually spending a little bit of time, hopefully, each day to work on it in some form or capacity. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want me to do other videos similar to this where I talk about some of my story ideas, let me know. I'd greatly appreciate the feedback. Share, like, comment, all that stuff. Let me know what you think. I'd greatly love your feedback. But of course, as always, do not forget to raise your nerd flags high, and I will see you next time. Nightwolf is out.